All right, fellas, let's talk a little Commanders and the Texans. Look, Commanders, a win is a win is a win. Now, did they almost rip Dallas Goedert's head off and create a fumble that may or may not have changed the course of the game that was with? Yeah, whatever. But I mean, hey, what do they say? Good teams win. Great teams get away with egregious penalties that lead to a cover or no win and whatever. Yeah, exactly. So
did they force a fumble after allowing a 50-yard reception down the field? That too.
So as we sit right now, the Commanders are 3-point road favorites. Now that is juiced at a couple of different books, so it could get to 3.5. If you are looking to take 3.5 on the Texans, I would just hold out at this point, see what you get. 40.5, 41 is the total. Steven, look, second game for me that I just want absolutely nothing to do with here. They are sticking with Heinecke instead of going back to Wentz, which they should do. The Texans, have been spunky, but in theory, we know they should lose. They need to lose out. Like they want one of those top 2 picks to where they can get one of the elite quarterbacks. So, I think everything's fairly appropriate here with everything. I mean, maybe if anything, lean towards an under, but I don't have a ton with this one.
So you can look at this kind of one of two ways. You can look at Davis Mills' home road splits and maybe lean taking Texans as a dog at home here. But I think with Washington turning so run heavy, and Houston being miserable in stopping the run, I think I want a piece of Washington here as long as it's 3 or better. I would not be interested at 3.5, but to get that push equity potentially if it lands on 3 is what I would want. The Texans are 31st in rush defense DVOA, 31st by PFF. They are 31st in rush D success rate. So you can gash this team on the ground. And we saw that Washington can do that against Philadelphia last week, who also is struggling against the run as well. So I am waiting for Adam to chime in and tell me once again about Taylor Heineke's terrible turnover-worthy play rate.
I'm looking up the updated number as you speak.
Yeah. It's playing with fire every week with Taylor Heinecke, but man, when seeing him running around like a chicken with his head cut off and acting like every week is the goddamn Super Bowl for him, man, it's fun. I'll give him that. But if they're going to run it 50 times a game, then yeah, I'm going to take Houston or I'm going to take Washington to cover a small number here.
Adam, as we take a look here, I mean, it is a Houston defense. We mentioned references even earlier in the pod. It's like it is almost on a historic pace for how much they are in futility for run defense. I mean, it's been absolutely putrid. We called this like, hey, look, as long as you have a competent running back and a competent run game, then you are going to be able to do some damage on the ground against this team. So, I mean, we've seen Washington pretty much make the switch to Brian Robinson. So maybe the play is Robinson props in this game. I mean, like maybe it's Robinson over whatever his number is, because it's probably, since he is still splitting carries with Gibson. I mean, it's probably.
Yeah, man, I think both are good. They're running it so much that there's volume for both of them. So I wouldn't even be against taking whoever's got the lower number and playing his over.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the play in this. Adam, what do you see here in the old Commanders and the Texans?
What I see is that the Texans, when they were at 2.5, so I gather I'm talking about a number that does not exist anymore.
Right.
Were as obvious of a teaser play to me as any team will get. Yes. And that being said, I'm also way lower on the market than most on Washington. So that to me goes back to Taylor Heinecke. You wanted it, you'll get it, Steven. Second in the league in turnover-worthy play rate at 5.6 is Zach Wilson. Third in the league is Justin Fields at 5.1. Zach Wilson's at 5.6. Taylor Heineke's at 6.9. He has been luckier than a guy with a horseshoe on top of a rabbit's foot. It's unbelievable that some of these passes have not gotten picked off, and it's also because of Terry McLaurin, so at least there's a little bit repeatable there. But
where's the horseshoe located, Adam?
I don't want to let anyone.
Okay,
no, it's a family show.
Listen, I've tried this rabbit's foot horseshoe crap in the casinos in Vegas. It doesn't work, man. So I don't know
for
what the
Taylor
hell you're talking
Heinecke,
about.
it works very well because not only that, he's been able to hit Carson Wentz over the head with the horseshoe and keep him on the sidelines. So yeah, it's by the way, quick aside, my favorite headline of the week is right now on ESPN.com. Heinecke to start again Sunday. Wentz not ready. When was he ready? He was never ready.
Yes.
All right. So that's all of that said. I like Houston catching 8.5 on a teaser at home. That now, if it gets to 3.5, as Matt alluded to, I probably would also take Houston plus 3.5 at home just because I don't trust Washington offensively to be able to blow this past a field goal. And yes, the defense has gotten a lot better. Chase Young is coming back. He's probably on a snap count, pitch count, call it what you want. Yes, they have played a lot better recently than they did early in the year. I'll give them that. But with Taylor Heinecke, man, it is always a disaster waiting to happen. And that's all it takes for a team like the Texans to be able to cover.
Yeah, yeah, man. If it were the 3.5, it would be interesting for me at that point. I mean, as bad as I think that the Texans are, and I have them dead last in my power ratings, like I have them absolutely like dead last, but I think I would have to be looking. I think I'd have to take a serious look at them at 3.5 because I just don't. There's nothing that screams Commanders by margin. If anything, like we're talking about, super run heavy approach, tons and tons and tons and tons of carries. So yeah, nothing really screams Commanders by margin at all.